know is not just that the birthright was stolen,
Okay.
but some of the major aspects of how it's been administered. So after the fall of the Emirates Palace in Al-Andalus, which after the fall of the Moors was called Spain.
Right.
And this is where Michelle went when Obama went to Egypt. And keep in mind the strategic move. Obama went to Egypt and exposed that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law, Masonic code, but truth. All right, now, Michelle triangulates, go to the Alhambra, the last stronghold of the Moorish Emirates kings, etc., which is a turning point, but not the absolute turning point. It's one of the major turning points of the transition of the Moors out of power, the Europeans coming into power. It is not absolute at this point, because it's still taking a couple hundred more years. However, it's primal.
Sister Reese says Islam.
Islam.
Go ahead.
And so they set up with the, and this is where the Spanish Inquisition comes in. And they set up the Global World Trust. The World Global Trust. Those two is called the World Global Trust. And some people refer to it as the Global World Trust. But it's the World Global Trust, right? And that's set up by the Vatican. And this is, then they have what is called the Roman Curia. And this is the, sort of like the motherboard of Inquisition operations for conquered lands and peoples. And so the World Global Trust set up.
Talib said he's loving the black polo.
Oh, all right. And so this is where you have the beginning, what is later known as the Man of Straw.
Right.
Now, of course, with the Roman bullas, the Unum Sanctum, which is the main bulla of the five that is collectively referred to as the doctrine of discovery. In Unum Sanctum, they declare the Moors dead at sea until proven otherwise.
Right.
And this is where scientifically, not from an etymological, but from and this is the branding system that later becomes solidified and is used by the Jesuit Army, which is now known as the United States Military Operations,
right,
or the industrial complex, which is really the Jesuit Army.
And for those who are reading that, they'll see where it literally will say, deal with the Moors, and call us, of course, Saracens most of the time on that. Yes. We just have to know who we were in history, but they literally have, they put us right in there.
And that creates the schism. Mm-hmm. So the schism, what they call divide and conquer, military strategy is to create multiple designations and referencing us in order for us to start thinking that we're different people.
Right.
The tribal game comes in, the Indian paradigm, all of those are schism operations.
Right. Islam, Sister Beverly.
Islam.
Come on out, you should come by if you can. You're feeling better. Islam, Brother Michael, Brother Kareem.
So, now the deal, and this is where, later, the German naturalists, Frederick Johann Blumenbach, and then Carlos Linnaeus, and then many of their, and they are pretty much are the major figures, although there were others dealing with the socialization structure called phenotypes in order to create the paradigm of quote-unquote racism. And then with Carlos Linnaeus, with the color scheme that's used by the United States Census Bureau, all of these things which have become social pseudo-realities to our people.
Right.
most of the people, except say their leader guys and scholars, know that these are social engineering constructs that have no history in the truth of our existence. And so when the people seek to bring remedy or identify themselves, they usually go to the palette of the Linnaeus palette of colors, right? Not knowing that these are schism paradigms. And then now this is where the scholars amongst us are compromised, and you can easily tell, and it's not to be taken personal, because scholars know this, what I'm speaking of right now. But what usually occurs is many of the so-called black organizations and their leaders are either co-intel cooperatives, right, or they have a 501c3 skull and bones agreement by which they get corporate kickbacks, and so therefore they go and they deal with the Rockefeller, what you call reconstructed versions of history.
And speaking of that, so one of the Moors was just asking, he said, if with the fact that the U.S. Was created, his question is right here, if the U.S. was created in 1754, can you talk about the Republic?
All right, now the Republic, well, the United States Corporation Company need to understand, that's why they need to understand the history. Okay. And so the focal point would be the Emirate fall of the Red House. Mm-hmm. The Red House is Alhambra. Mm-hmm. That's what the Moorish King's Palace. Mm-hmm. Now keep in mind is that the nobles are the Moors. Indeed. I.e. the heavily melanated Moors. Understand that the Europeans are essentially Moors too. They're amalgamated Moors. All right, now, and they're given the designation European because they were given under the authority of Queen Europa. No different than the people here are called Californians. They were under the jurisdiction of Queen Khalifa. Actually, it was Emeritus Khalifa. And people in this air territory even see her in symbolic filigrees and
Islam was saying
Islam, and don't even know their history, that they're looking at Khalifa. If you get the point.
You need to bring the ginger brew to leave. That's why we're not drinking on this ginger brew. You need to bring it.
But anyway, with the globe now, with the Unum Sanctum, Dom Diversus, Romanus Pontifex, Intercatera Divino, and the Sister QV Act of 1666. Right. That's the foundation of what the straw man is built on now. You know, with the Sister Q Trust.
For those who are coming, I'm going to be going over all of those. Yes. All of those to show them if you're in the area and you didn't make this event, you're about to miss out on a lot of information because we're specifically going over things based on the moves that we're about to make in this territory to get everybody prepped and prepared.
Yeah.
So
for the changes that are definitely going to take place.
Right.
You know, so we have to be prepared. Right. And even in our preparation, we'll be under-prepared. So not to be prepared at all is also economically and actually politically dangerous.
Right.
If you understand. In other words, we're going to go through a heavily trying time because they're going to try to be eliminating the heirs physically.
Yes.
And so they're going to create a lot of false flags to justify doing things. And not that they're not, they know that they're going out of power, but it's almost like the old concepts that they teach in the Bible where Satan losing power and going to try to take a third of the angels down with him.
Right.
You know, and of course a lot of them going to go voluntarily thinking they're going to get a benefit, if you get the point, not knowing that he's plotting to kill them.
A lot of them are already going voluntarily thinking that they get the benefit.
Yeah, thinking they're going to get a benefit.
The 501c3s and all of them.
Yeah, yeah. And as the people are waking up, you know, so the European got another plan out called a 501c4. Mm-hmm. So the other taffy was poison, so we're going to give you a good one this time. Mm-hmm. You know, that's to keep them answering to the jurisdiction.
You got a couple of a couple of Moors out here who are claiming that 501c4.
Well, just telling you what it is, you know.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
And it's not personal, it's fact.
Yeah.
You know, and this is back to why when people are running around even doing, you know, these instrumentalities in the name of attaching to the World Global Trust, they won't mention the World Global Trust.
Right.
They'll just talk about debtor-creditor type thing, discharge, accepted for value. All those things are realities, but they're based on United States Code of Law of 95.A, subsection A.
So Reese was asking about suing the Census Bureau. You have to explain that, Reese. I don't know what you're asking. Yeah, I don't know what she's asking. Islam, Sister Jamila. So we're gonna shut this down. I just want to say hello from the Emir and myself.
Islam.
And we'll be back on. If you have not signed up for the event, it's going to be starting. I'm not sure what time it is, but we'll be starting at about 10 Pacific time pretty promptly. So just get on there. If you haven't gotten on PayPal to send in the 20 notes for the live stream, I'd advise you to do it now, not in 10 minutes, not in 15, but right now, because once I sit down at the computer, I'm not going to do the, you know, run around trying to rush to get people on at the last minute. So please do it now, and we will talk to you later. We'll be back on later. I'm sure you may see some shorts from it.
Islam and peace. Peace and love.